Alright, here, May 15th, we're finally getting back in the field on Monday here. Well, we're going to try to get back in the field. It's still a little wet in some spots, so we're going to see how it goes. Ground just sure ain't drying out very fast, don't know why, but luckily it's supposed to be in the 80s all this week, so that'll kind of bake it out. All the corn that was planted several days before the rain's looking pretty good around here. Now there's a few field of beans are starting to make it up. Like that field's just starting to poke through. That's not ours, but there's some cornfields down in this area. You know, they got the black dirt and whatnot, and it's as long as there wasn't water standing on it, you come out all right on the corn down here. Pretty much when it was planted up by Grandpa's, it's on the lighter timber soils. We're gonna have a little more replant to do up there, just because that ground doesn't warm up near as quick and whatnot. Black dirt kind of soaks up the heat and everything and gets the crop out of the ground a little better. But I got a little chemical left. We didn't know how much we're gonna need. There, when we started putting it on a couple weeks ago, and so it's a new system. You just don't know. So we did that. And I gotta run it off now. This hayfield didn't come up very well, but we're having a time killing it. Telling me it's got full fuel. When we go past the full mark, it buzzes at you, and then when it sucks enough off, then it comes back to full. I'm going to leave the rolling harrow up for this first pass, because it's a 33 foot on 30 foot soil finisher, and I kind of want to hang over a little farther, and we'll work this again before we plant it. But then I just got to flag off where I worked. Alright, I got the chemical put in. Take off and go here. I got the rolling harrow folded up on it because it's a 33 foot rolling harrow versus 30 foot soil finisher, and I'd kind of like get the sweeps along the edge of the field there. Dad took the light bar to go spray with this morning. Got some fields that are getting kind of weedy after 3 weeks of rain, and so figured we'd spray them again instead of working them twice. Wet there along the trees, but it always is. It's one thing I'm not going to miss that hayfield. It's always a pain in the butt to get the hay to dry along these trees. Probably pick up almost 12 rows of corn if we cleaned out this fence row, but God, that'd be a job cleaning that thing out. It's got a lot of big hedge apple trees in it and mulberry trees. It's been weeks down there digging everything out. I don't know why. It's the same half-mile field over here, but for some reason the trees just never grew up much in this area. Notice we got tracks going back here, and you'll see in a minute what the problem is back here. Well, we're not going to quite get over the second hill here. I'm going to stop at the half-mile mark so that it's easy to see where we're going to come back and do the rest of the field. But you can, well, there you can see it. We got Lake Ziegler over there. Tile line crosses into the fence. There only got a dang plugged tile. Probably takes out about 5 acres or 6 acres between us and the neighbor's field up there. Not good. We'll get out and inspect the ground here and see if we want to put the rolling harrow out or not. It does fill up with mud if it's too wet. I'll get going a little ways down here and get away out of the valley here. A ton of lamb's quarters coming up here. You can sure tell the guys that didn't spray it or work it the ground earlier, they hadn't had anything done to it this spring. We get yellow rocket real bad in this area, and it sure comes up in a pretty bad if you about got to just disc the stuff because it's so tall and stringy. Getting it beat down there. Yeah, I suppose we can go ahead and fold it out. Probably be alright. We run these selector valves on there because we use up all 4 remotes when we put the hydraulic pump on there. And the soil finisher really takes 3 remotes to run it, but we've got the wings and the disc gangs tied into one. And we got the fold and the raise and lower on the rolling harrow tied into one. So well, Farming Life wanted to see an update on the corn here. In the other video I had a couple weeks back when we finished planting corn, kind of got cut short because of the problems with YouTube, but I got the rest of that video put back up too. Looks pretty good. It's greened up the past couple days since we finally got some sunshine. This is the first, or the only field we have side dressed right now. I side dressed it, well, right before the rain got here. It started raining on me as I was doing the end rows, so. But I got that chemical runoff there, and I'm gonna head back and go start side dressing now. Hopefully the next field's dry enough. Luckily the water's off of this side. I think we're going to replant a little bit back in there on that pond, but that's just the way it is. But the corn's looking good. It's got 6 leaves out already, so ought to be taking off pretty well. But especially this 80-degree heat this week, that'll be great. But I got a chance of rain again Wednesday, so I don't know about how much we'll get done, but just keep going until it rains. Well, got here side dressing. It was gonna go today, so out here that farm we had tiled. About 60 acres done already. 106 out here. Well, I got 64 done. 64.2 to be exact. And I got 106 out here, so. Always kind of a pain hooking up anhydrous tanks. I would not want that job pulling tanks at the fertilizer dealer. Sometimes we pull our own tanks, just depending on who's around. Pulled them today since since the fertilizer dealer's busy. First day back in the field in several weeks, so they were just swamped today. It's windy today, and that's always nice for anhydrous, because otherwise it'd be like Jeff Raymond and head stumbling for the fence row. If you guys haven't watched Jeff Raymond's anhydrous video, I'd suggest you go check it out. I think it's the last one he put up. Took several weeks, probably been almost a month ago. He didn't have a lick of wind that day, and it was and that anhydrous is getting him pretty bad. Only got about 82% full on this tank. Well, depends on who's filling it. Sometimes guys will get it up to 91%. I don't think it's supposed to quite go that full on them, but I like it because then you can go get another round out of it or something. Keep that thing contained. I back up and that thing will snap in there, and away we go. I always keep track of the percentages in the tanks, because I keep a little ledger thing here, percentages and whatnot. Then I make sure that I'm putting the right amount on. Flip it on, throw it in the ground. I don't run that thing all the way in the ground just so it doesn't ghost it eating. It's still kind of wet out and don't want it slabbing it too bad and having trouble sealing. So I use that lift assist wheel to carry the back end a little bit. About 7 miles an hour, putting on 155 pounds. about 30 pounds of 32% we put on this starter. Got about 180 to 185 pounds out here. And then the plow down from the bean stubble, which is about 60 pounds. Might even be a little more last year. The beans were so tall and everything. There's probably a lot of nitrogen tied up in that plant. Beans, that's the bean field we planted there. It was just starting to poke through when I pulled in the field this morning, and now I just looked after I hooked that tank up, and about all of them are popping up now. It's 80-some degrees out here and sunny, and finally starting to push through. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Got a lot of water comes off here in the interstate right there, and on the other side of them trees, and all over past the watershed comes down through this waterway here, and it'll cut out if you don't watch what you're doing and chisel it and everything else. A lot of water flows across here and runs over to the ditch over there. This is the only problem with side dressing is you get running in rows here and they're heading every direction, and what do? Run the shank through them and plow a bunch out, or you just not put any on? And you opt for not putting any on because at least there's some plant still there, and then the weeds don't grow up. Makes a nice berm, and that silt and everything's been washed in here. Sure been smelling that anhydrous all day in the cab, because when I raise up on the end, it seeps out of the knives a little bit, and I turn right into the wind, and air conditioning sucks it up. And that's the way it is. Seen a few other guys start planting beans today. You guys, I think, it's still too wet and they're holding off. There is still a few spots of the water standing in the, even with decent drainage, it was kind of some spotty rain went through. And it's not anything too dry out here. I think I definitely couldn't have side dressed a day earlier, and it's gotten better this afternoon with the heat and the wind. It was real bad this morning. I was kind of wondering if we were going to be able to run or not, just the way it was slapping it up, but after a round or so it got doing better, and I started on that side of the field, which drained a little better. But anyway, that's starting side dressing here for 2017. I'll have more videos coming this spring, so thanks for watching.